Hello everybody, my name is Shirley Stewart and this is So Too We Begin Embroidery. If you've been here before, thank you for returning, and if you're new to my channel, please watch to the end and like and share, and please subscribe, and thank you for stopping by. I just wanted to start off today to apologize for the video that was posted last night. And honestly, it wasn't supposed to be posted. It was supposed to be posted later. I had the bright idea of shooting multiple videos to sort of save time. And in the process of my editing and trying to learn how to do that, I uploaded the wrong video and it went straight public, which was not my intention. So I do apologize for that. I am beginning to learn how to do this YouTube stuff and movie editing and all of those things. So be patient with me. I'll get it right. But I just wanted to let you know that it talks about a video that I had done earlier that did not get posted. And that's where I was talking about how to choose an embroidery machine. So I will discuss that today. And I just wanted to let you know that, again, I apologize for that snafu that I made. So let's get started. So what I did on my very first video, I did talk about the reasoning for wanting to have a channel, to lend my voice to help share some of the things that I've learned about embroidery, and also to learn from my audience of the things that they can teach me or give me advice or help me with some of the information. So please feel free to make comments and add your comments based upon the things that I have posted, and ask questions, and also let me know what it is that you're interested in that you might want me to discuss as a topic. So I will start off with the selecting an embroidery machine, or choosing how to choose an embroidery machine for you. There are several things to consider because there are different types of machines. So let me start there. You do have your single needle machine, which is most prevalent. You have your combination sewing and embroidery machine. You have your multi-needle machines, which are categorized, I would put them in two categories. One would be considered your hobby, home-based, multi-needle machine / commercial. That's how they pretty much promote it, stating that it is an excellent machine to use if you're just doing it for a hobby. And you also can do a startup business with it because of the features that it has, and is really robust, but it's not your main industrial commercial machine. And then that's the other category, the commercial machine. Usually those machines start at around 15 needles, and I know it goes up to at least 18 needles as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know. So let me tell you what I have learned based upon the research that I've done as far as make a decision about how to select a machine. Let's start with a single needle machine. There are so many of them out there that you can look at. You have your Brother Baby Lock machines. Brother and Baby Lock are pretty much the same company. One is, I think, considered more of an upscale, and it may be a little bit more pricey, but they usually have some of the same features. And it's so many of those. And the most popular Brother machine is the PE 800. And that machine, everyone that I know that has a Brother PE 800 loves it. The PE 770 is the sister to that. That's the one that came out before the 800. So those two machines are extremely popular. And because of that, they are extremely difficult to find now. They were running before the pandemic last year anywhere between $400 to $600 to purchase. Now, if you go online or on Amazon or any of the other sewing machine dealer sites, They're running anywhere from $1,100 to $1,200 or $1,300 if they do have them available. They're very scarce, especially the PE 800, so you may not be able to even find one new. You may be able to find a refurbished one, or you may be able to find a used one. But I do caution, if that's something that you're considering doing, do your research regarding the person that's selling it or the company that's selling it to make sure that it's legitimate. If they give you a lowball price, then you may need to be a little cautious to make sure that they are legit, because I don't want you to make a mistake and buy a machine that doesn't work, and that could possibly happen. So those are some of your options. Also, you have your Juki, which is a Japanese-based machine. You have your Bernina. You have your Janome, which is also a Japanese-based machine. You have the Husqvarna, which is a machine from Switzerland. So those are just some of the single needle machines that are out there, and they're very good. Research each one of them, make your decision which one you want, and then make your purchase. Now, what I advise you to look at when you're trying to make a decision is 2 or 3 things. First, you want to know what it is that you're planning on doing with the machine. Is this machine going to be for hobby, or is it going to be for a business? And you can do either one or both. I do have the Brother SE 1900, which is a combination machine. It is a sewing machine / embroidery machine, and I use it for both. It is a single needle, and I'm very content with what it has to offer. And I did start a business with it, so it is possible to do that with a single needle machine. The largest hoop for most single needle machines, the ones that are relatively in the $2 to $3 to, I would say, $1,000, and they do cost that much. My SE 1900 was running around that price when I bought it, so it does, you know, those prices can be up. So that's something that you have to decide. What is your budget? But then the second thing should be, what are you going to do with it? And based upon that, that would determine what hoop size you may want to make sure that your machine has. The average single needle machine hoop sizes are anywhere from 4x4, which is 4 inches by 4 inches, and up to 5x7. That's 5 inches by 7 inches. That is the size of the hoop. That's not necessarily the size of the actual embroidery area. So keep that in mind. If you get a machine that's only 4x4, then you're going to probably lose anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch of diameter as far as your stitching area. So you want to keep that in mind when you're making that selection. Now, as the prices go up, the size of the hoops go up. So you can get a single needle machine with a 6x10. They have one that's 9.5x14, 8x12, and then the Cadillac Brother single needle machine is the Luminaire, and that machine hoop size, the largest, is 10.58 times 16 inches. So it's roughly 10.5 inches by 16 inches, and that is your embroidery area, or the size of the hoop. And of course you stitch inside of that, and that's pretty big for a single needle machine. That's really big. That's really good. But keep in mind, that's the Cadillac or the Mercedes or your Jaguar embroidery machine in the single needle category, because that machine costs upward of $10,000 to $14,000 just for that particular machine. So if you're just starting out, unless you can actually afford that machine, I would recommend that not be your first machine. If you're a beginner like me and your budget is like mine, then you probably want to look at one of the machines that are running anywhere from 500 to 1,000, or a little bit more, maybe 1,200, because you're not really going to find at this particular moment a lot of embroidery machines that are $200 or $300, because when the pandemic hit last year, the machines just flew off the shelf. The sewing machines as well as the embroidery machines, because everybody wanted to make masks and they just went like crazy. Just like fabric went away, thread went away, elastic went away. You could not find anything. If you had not gotten your stash in prior to that mass depletion, then you were pretty much out of luck. And I was lucky enough that I had gotten most of everything that I needed. So I was able to continue my business and continue to do making masks, because that's what I started off doing. 100% was making masks. And then I have ventured out to do other things. But that, and I did that with my 5x7, because I returned my 4x4 and I got the one that does 5x7. So that's your single needle machines. The next would be considered multi-needle machines, and they can start anywhere as low as 4 needles all the way up to 10 to 12 needles. And those are your home-based hobby / commercial machines, like my brother 1055X that I have. PR 1055X brother is the machine that I have behind me, and it is a 10 needle machine, and I do use it for my business. It is an extremely well featured machine. It has a lot of different things that it does, and I'm very happy with it. So all of the features that it has is what drew me into making that purchase. And that would be your next thing to consider. What features do you want? What features do you need? Some machines do automatic threading, if that's something that you want. They have multiple designs, which you have to have some type of designs. Some of your less expensive machines will not have designs or fonts, and that means you'll have to buy them. Unless you know how to digitize them, then you can create them yourself, and that is a skill that needs to be learned. So you want to look at the hoop size. You want to look at what are the features, what does it include, does it have fonts included, does it have designs included, what is the mechanism for getting your designs onto your machine if you do decide to get one that does not have designs or don't have enough designs, or you're going to want more designs. Trust me, you're going to want more designs. So you need to know whether or not it is a USB port that you can use, or can it be connected directly to your computer where your software talks to your machine. What about the lighting or the size of the actual stitching area or embroidery area? That's important too. Also, very important is local support. Will this machine be purchased from a local dealer? So that sort of guarantees that you have technical support, someone that can come out to maintain your machine, or at least somewhere close where you can take your machine. I have brothers. Both of my machines are brothers, and there are brother dealers nearby me. So when my machine needs to be serviced, I will be able to take it in to get it serviced because they're local. So that was a big selling point for me to be able to do that. So now the next thing we'll talk about would be what I consider commercial machines. And that's your machines that are 15 needles or greater, and they have much larger hoops. Those machines, hoop size can be as large as, there was one that I know that I was looking at before I got my brother 10 needle machine, that I think the largest hoop was like 22 by 16 or 22 by 20, something extremely large, which is what really drew me to that machine. And all of the other accessories that goes with it. But I decided to stick with what my first mind was, I went on and did the 10 needle machine. And one of the reasons why is because you have to look at the space that you have available to bring your machine into. The bigger machines, or the 15 needle machines, which are commercial machines, have a larger footprint, so you're going to need a larger space. And I do not have that. So that was another reason why I decided not to go up that large. So that is something that you need to take into consideration. Do you have room for it? And do you have some place to put the machine on? Does it come with a stand? Or do you have a table or something that you can put it on? And if you do you have someone to help you to get it on there? I've seen some stories online where people have purchased their machines and they really don't have any way of getting it up onto the stand, and which is unfortunate, because I believe if you spend the kind of money that you have to spend to get a multi-needle machine, that company should make sure that it is set up for you, and that does not always happen. I was very, very lucky that my brother dealer put my stand together and delivered it to me, and they set it up on the stand and everything. So all I had to do was thread it, and I was ready to go. So those are things to look at and find out what's your service that you're going to get. And if you do decide to get a commercial machine, do the research on that as well. There are a lot of them out there. A few of them that I'll mention, and I don't have the experience with commercial machines, so I can't recommend any of them. So do your research. But some of the companies are Melco, and their I think it's EMT16X, which I've heard very, very good things about it. That was one that I did consider. That particular machine does not have an LCD panel like this one here. Most of all the other machines do have your LCD panels, but the Melco, you have to use a computer. So keep that in mind. Then you have your Redline, which I understand is a pretty economical commercial machine. So that may be an excellent choice. You have your Happy, your ZSK, your Racoma, your Tajima. So those are just some of your Avance, which was one had that huge hoop that I was looking at and decided against it. So those are some of the brands of your commercial machines. And they also, some of those also do have the 10 needle machines, like your Brother, your Baby Lock, your Janome, your Juki. I think all of those have anywhere from a 4 to a 12 needle machine available. So those are the things to take into consideration when you're making your decision about choosing a machine. You need to make sure that it's going to fit into your budget, that you have made a decision as to exactly what it is that you're going to do with that machine. Excuse me while I take a little sip of my coffee while it's still hot. The hoop size, what are you going to do with it, will pretty much determine what hoop size that you probably want. For me, the bigger the better, because I do like doing jacket backs, patches where you can do multiple patches at one time if you have a large enough hoop, and shirts and big designs and what have you. So I like a larger hoop, but that may not be something that is that important to you. So just make that decision. What are the features and the ease of use and the training? I forgot to mention that. If you purchase a machine locally, does that particular dealer provide you with training? If you're new to embroidery, you're going to need to learn how to use your machine and use the features that come with it. And they're not always that straightforward. Most of them are pretty easy to learn, but it is a learning process. You're not going to really, it's not like a sewing machine that if you've sewn before, then all you need to do is, how do I thread this particular machine? And then you go forward and you know how to sew. An embroidery machine has all the knobs and the whistles and the bells. And if you kind of look, you see the different knobs and the 10 needles, and you got the LCD panel and all of those things, the thread where you have to learn how to thread the machine and all of that. And that's just the superficial. Then you need to know what the features are and how to access those features and how to use them and when to use them. So training is very important. That's why you may consider buying your machine from a local dealer versus offline or Amazon or someplace like that. So please take those things into consideration. Also, what is it that you're going to do with that machine? Are you going to just use it for a hobby, or are you going to use it to start a business? And as I said, you can do a business with a machine that is the hoop size as small as 4x4, or you can move up to the largest hoop size that you can afford. So I hope this information makes sense to you and is something that is going to help you think about what it is that you need to consider when you're getting ready to buy your machine. And if you have anything else, that anybody out there has anything else that they want to add to this list, please feel free to put that in the comments below. I do appreciate the comments, and I do read them, and I try to respond to each one that I receive. And I do appreciate all of you that have already subscribed to my channel. And please, those of you that have not, if you like what you're hearing and seeing, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share. And we will continue to discuss this information. And also, I just want to mention that I do have a website, that if you're interested in looking at my website, you can go to Soul to Soul Stitches and Things. So that's the name of my company, and that's where my website, how you can get to my website. I will put that link as well on this channel if you're interested in looking at that, to see some of the things that I've actually have on my website that I've made and the types of things that I do. The shirts that I've been wearing, I have made these as well. My other 2 shirts that I had on are my logo that I have embroidered on there. This one is all rhinestone, which I put it up as a lady. Can't see it, but anyway, it's a cute lady. Those all rhinestone, I've done that. So a lot of different things that I'm doing. And if you're interested in knowing anything about those things, I can also discuss that as well, which I plan to do as time goes on. But thank you for stopping by, and I hope you've enjoyed this. And I'm wanting you to have a pleasant day. And remember that so too we will begin learning all we need to know about embroidery. Have a good day. Bye.